Hello everybody, Sean Bodine here with the very last episode of Route X Lap Attack. And I know this is not a pleasant occasion, but to celebrate, we will be testing 4 cars instead of the usual 1. So some of the footage has been sped up, that way all 4 cars can finish at the finish line at relatively the same time. So going from top to bottom, in the top left corner, we have the 1967 Chevrolet Nova. The second yellow car in the top right corner is the Ford Maverick. We got another Chevy in the bottom left corner, that being another classic 1970s muscle car, a Camaro. And finally, another excellent classic, the 1964 Aston Martin DB5. I am so glad I finally got that car. I've been wanting to have it for a very, very long time. I was considering having it painted in the typical silver that you see for the James Bond franchise, but when I saw it was coming in that shade of green, like a greenish blue, I decided to keep it. It just looks great. You don't always need to have a silver DB5. I mean, as much as I like James Bond, there's a lot of great colors out there. That's also why in a previous episode, when I was testing the BB11, I had it painted in what Aston Martin referred to as Madagascar Orange. I thought that was a great name, so I had to do that for the BB11. All 4 cars now are seen going down the hill. Definitely the fastest was the Maverick. In fact, that is the only car right now playing at normal speed. As I said, the other cars, their run times are being shown at a higher speed. I sped up the footage so that it looks like it's running about the same speed as the Maverick, but if you look at the speedometers, you can see that the Maverick is definitely the fastest, going close to 250. The Nova is going 219. I almost said Camaro. That's going about the same speed as the Nova, though. The DB5, unfortunately, despite being the nicest car of the quartet, it is unfortunately the slowest. It's not even close to any of the cars. I mean, I guess it's kind of close to the Nova, but still not as fast. But you know, sometimes speed isn't everything, especially out in real life. You know, when you're racing, though, it kind of is an important factor. Now, real life, I was referring to like just driving on public roads, but like racing, speed is an important factor. However, there are other things you need to consider, like reliability, durability, aerodynamics. That's why I was talking to somebody at work earlier today. You know, I said that Italy makes a lot of fine cars that could probably go even faster than the Maverick. That's seen doing 250 right now. But unfortunately, the reliability will prevent it from going its potential top speed. You know, there's a lot of good cars out there, and I just think it's great that we have a lot of these different things for a reason. You know, like every car is good at a certain thing. Dogs are barking upstairs, but we'll worry about them later. There's a lot of other dogs they want to try and get towards. And the cars themselves are getting towards the tunnel. There will be a second tunnel they go through as they get towards the finish line. This one's pretty cool, though. I like this. Seeing all 4 go through this at once kind of reminds me a little bit of a split-screen video game. You know, like, I wish with split screen you could race with AI like you do in player 1 mode, or like 1-player mode. That was my dog again. Sorry about that. Man, she loves to speak. But back to what I was saying, I wish that when you do split screen in Gran Turismo, you could race with AI like you do when you're playing by yourself. But I guess that's also why they have multiplayer. Multiplayer is fun, but if you're playing with a friend and you don't want to go online, having the AI would be nice. But that reminds me, I wonder if you could do a 4-player mode in Gran Turismo. Because I think in Gran Turismo 7, they only have like a 2-player mode. But it would really, really be good if you could do a 4-player race like this. Alright, we're getting towards the end. The Maverick, as I said, is the fastest. But from top to right, the lap times for the Nova was a 5:12. Maverick got a 4:33. The Camaro got a 5:16. And the DB5 got a 5:22. Let's see how the cars did compared to the others. Instantly, we already found the Maverick, which got 7th with its time of 4:33. But since the other 3 cars were going slower, I had to go into the ranking board and look through their individual categories. Of course, the Maverick wasn't actually a Ford. It was under the Greening Auto Company thing. And there was the same thing for the 1967 Nova. We saw I had a 20th with its time. The 1970 Camaro that I raced also was under the same thing. It was known as the Roadster Drag Rampage. That got 14th. And the DB5 in PP 700, a different category, it was... Oh, there it is. It's 7th. That Camaro was in the PP 800 category, which was a little better. But, yeah. This is the very last episode. I don't plan to do this ever again, but I might do more things. I know I'm doing more of Colorado Springs, but if you want me to do another series like this on a different track, just let me know in the comments. Until then, take care, and I'll see you later in other Gran Turismo videos.